Welcome back to my channel. Today is the first week of June. I've been on vacation this week for our 10-year wedding anniversary. So we usually take the first week of June off every year, and we like to get the yard in order. We've had a lot of rain recently, so it's been hard to really get out and do any yard work around here. So thank God the weather's been great this week, so I got a lot done. So we're going to do a little tour of the garden in June of 2025. So over here, so far I just have the lettuce that I sowed last fall. And I sowed it pretty late because we didn't get back into our house until around July. So I really didn't get to do much gardening last year. But I did try to, in the fall, I was hoping maybe I'd get something. So I did sow some seeds. They didn't really do much last year, but they came up this year. They sprouted. So those are looking pretty good. I can probably start cutting those if I want anytime now. Down here are transplants. I started these they're called red Malabar spinach right here, and there's one right there and there. I've tried sowing these seeds in the past, but when I have done it, they've never sprouted. So I did try them indoors this year. They seem to transplant just fine for me. So we'll see how those go. They're looking pretty good. And then right here, it just kind of looks like blank space, but I did plant a bunch of bush beans all in this area over to the lettuce. This bed behind it, I sowed carrots here last fall. And again, the same thing. They didn't do anything really last fall. It was too late by the time I really got them out here. But the seeds were obviously still there, so those are sprouted from seeds I planted in the fall. This was a whole bunch of kale. I removed all the kale. It went to seed. I did leave this one in the front. That one is still doing fine. It hasn't bolted or flowered or anything yet. Let's see. I did have some radishes right here. I got a handful, maybe like 4 or 5 radishes. And then all of this is potatoes from last year. Or actually, yeah, it might have been last year I had potatoes over here. All the really small little potatoes that were left over in the dirt have all sprouted. And I don't know if you can see, but right there is a small little potato. So all these sprouts are from little tiny potatoes just like that. So again, I didn't have to plant these this year. This is all just stuff that is from last year that keeps coming back. And same with this. This is a potato plant as well. I did grow potatoes over here last year in that section. So that's just volunteer potatoes. And then this was my garlic. The rest of this bed is all just hardneck garlic. All of this garlic is from my harvest from last year. I haven't had to buy, garlic in probably at least 3 to 4 years. I might have to purchase some in the fall to plant just because I really want to be able to dry the garlic and turn it into powder, as well as use it fresh. And we go through a lot of garlic, so I don't think this is going to be enough for me to do like at least a year's worth of powdered garlic and fresh garlic. But yeah, so I might purchase some next year, but I'm going to use what I can of mine and then see how we go. But I want to basically double what I have. In the garlic, since it's the beginning of the June, we are starting to get garlic scapes. So this is a garlic scape. Basically, it's when the plant is going to seed it's gonna produce a flower, so then that flower can dry out and make seeds. So when you're growing garlic, you don't want that to happen because it's focusing all its efforts on making that flower to produce the seeds to reproduce itself. So once these are probably a little bit bigger, I might harvest some of them tomorrow. But I don't want those to go to flower because it's going to focus on the flower instead of actually making the garlic bulb itself. So in order for us to not have that happen where it doesn't produce a bulb, I have to pick that garlic scape. And they taste kind of like a green onion and a garlic, like if it had crossed. That's what the flavor of it is. You can use it in things in replace of garlic. You can saute it by itself and just eat them that way. I've done that. But mostly, like, I usually, if I have a lot, I'll just grind it up and make almost like a garlic pesto. And then I freeze that. But yeah, the garlic looks awesome this year. So these are potatoes that I did purchase this year, and I planted them probably about a month or so ago. We've had tons of rain, like I was saying, so these look absolutely beautiful, doing really good. And then more carrots. Again, I sowed those last year, and they didn't have a chance to do anything, but they sprouted in the spring. And then this bed, this one just has 2 blueberry plants, the oregano that's in the middle, and you can't even really tell there's blueberry plants here, but there is this right here is blueberries. And that is actually a plant that I got from someone I work with. One of his friends is an avid gardener. And so we got chatting about gardening, and he dug me up 2 of the blueberry bushes from his house. And there's the other one right here. That one's doing good, and they do have a few blueberries on them. But this center one that looks kind of crazy, that is all Greek oregano. I planted this, I believe, 3 years ago, and it's just turned into this massive bush of oregano. I definitely don't ever need to plant oregano again. Here in New York, this is a perennial plant, so it'll come back every year, and obviously it comes back massive. But I do go through a lot of oregano. I love to dehydrate it and use it all year long. I haven't really had to buy oregano in, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years, maybe more. And then I do have another volunteer. This is celery that came up. And I planted celery in this bed probably 3 years ago, and it just never dies. It just keeps coming back. And actually, this year, those stalks look really thick. Pretty good. That's like actually the best I've ever seen it. Usually they're thin stalks like this one. But it looks like we have some nice ones in there. Those aren't too bad. And they also want to go to seed. And then the last bed to show you is this one here. Again, more carrots that I sowed last year and they sprouted this year. And I haven't planted anything here yet. I've just put my compost down yesterday. But I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this bed. But I do have 3 grape bushes, plants, whatever you would call them. 3 of those growing right here to climb up that fence. And that's it for this back garden. We will show you up at the house. I have 4 raised beds up there, and I'll show you what those look like. All right, we're up near the house. So in this bed, I do have a sad little blueberry plant over in the corner. I have a bunch of strawberries that come back every year. Right here in the center, that's some basil that I had started in the house, and it started dying because I forgot to water it. But I put that out here, and it looks much better than when I first brought it out, so I think that'll be fine. Right here are some shallots that just keep coming back every year. I must miss like one or two here and there when I'm picking them, and so yeah, and those I did not plant this year or last year. I did start some cauliflower indoors. Those are a couple of the transplants. That back there is a transplant. My tomatoes, that was a volunteer tomato. This bed actually has a lot of little tomato plants that are sprouting, just from tomatoes that had fallen off of plants in previous years, and then the seeds end up just sitting there, and then they sprout the following year. I do have fennel right there, and then more cauliflower in the back. I have a sad little pepper here, and another sad tomato. So all my starts of tomatoes and peppers that I did indoors look pretty crappy. My setup this year is a lot different than what I've done in past years, so we're gonna have to change something. But I'm still gonna give the plants a shot and let them try and grow. Over in this bed, so I have bulbing onions all along the side here, and then also on the other end there's bulbing onions. And then some of my tomatoes and peppers I planted. I think that's a pepper. I did sow the seeds for this lettuce probably about a month ago. Usually it's about 30 days until you can harvest the lettuce from when you sowed the seed. So these I can start trimming a little bit here and there if I want. This is Chinese chive. It's kind of like onion, like like an onion. I haven't really grown that before, so this is the first year I've ever had that. In the back row I have sweet peas or sugar snap peas. That's what those are. Those will climb up the fence. And then I did just sow some cucumber seeds, so I have 4 different cucumber seeds at each post. There's a little more lettuce there, and then I think I have a pepper underneath there. I'm just randomly trying stuff. Over here is just a normal flower bed, but that's new. I've been working on it for the last couple years, but with us not being in the house for a year and a half, obviously I didn't get to really work on it. So this year I planted more bulbs for different flowers, and I added a whole bunch of different stuff. So that's coming along. Once it fills out more, it'll look really good. Planted some new flowers there. Also in my pots, I decided I was just going to do bulbs, so that way every year they just come back and I don't have to plant them every year. Same with that one. And then this bed, so right here in the front, all of this is shallots. So those are actually free. I didn't buy them. I had shallots that I grew the previous year, and I just had those in the closet. I never used them. Well, I used them, but not all of them. And some of them were starting to sprout, so in the fall I just came out and threw them in the dirt and hoped for the best, and they look amazing. Over here again, more potato plants. So that happens a lot with potatoes, like in an area that you grow them. When you get those really tiny potatoes that you're probably not gonna eat, or you just miss them, they end up being in the dirt, and they grow the following season. And that's what happened here. Also I have some lettuces that are growing, and right here some Swiss chard. that's growing. In between here, I did sow some golden beets. They didn't all sprout, but there are a few here and there. So I'm just leaving those where they are. Actually, these were radishes I pulled a day or two ago and I forgot them. And then the final bed that I have, this one we built last year. Yeah, it was last year. We added this bed to the property. So right now, I have lettuce that was from last year that is looking really good. There's actually one head right here. This one actually is forming a nice romaine head. But I'll probably have to pick that because it looks like it wants to start going to seed or flowering. And then along the edge here, I did some of the pepper plants that I had from inside along there. And then sporadically, I have a few tomatoes in here, but I still have to fill this bed in with more stuff. I know in that corner over there, I sowed up one pumpkin seed. I've never had any luck with pumpkins, but usually I don't remember to even plant them until it's way too late. So that's probably problem number one. So I did get one in there. I'm going to see if it sprouts. We'll see what happens. But I figured it would be kind of beneficial in this corner because it can go over the edge and then it can grow down the hill right here. And then also I think I put a zucchini seed somewhere around in here as well. And I do have another bed right here. This is all going to be a flower bed. That's all that I have in it right now. And I just, like, it doesn't look great because I took transplants from my mother-in-law's house and put them over here. So they just need some time to spruce back up and, you know, get established. So, but that's going to look really good too. So that's it, guys. That's all my garden beds that I have. I do have like a green stalk on the side of the house, and actually I do have one more raised bed on the side of the house, and that just has parsley in it right now and some onions. And then my green stalk, I haven't done anything with that. I took the dirt out and mixed that up and got that ready, but I haven't actually planted anything in it yet. And then these are just our fruit trees. So the first two are apple trees, the third one is a peach tree, and then the last two down here are pear trees. And then along here we have 4 plum trees. This year will be the first year, as long as everything goes well from here out, that we should have fruit on all of these trees but the plum ones. But the peach trees flowered. We didn't have a frost that killed them. They have a ton of peaches on them. And same with like the pear trees. Those are loaded with pears. We've never had a harvest from these trees. So fingers crossed everything goes well and we'll have a great harvest this year. But yeah, guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. But I will come back with another video when we have more to look at.